Good afternoon. Let me try that again. Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. So great to see you. Some of you, I was joking and saying it's the third time today I've seen you. It all works out, all these lovely meetings we've been having. So thank you so much for coming to our State of the School presentation at School Social Work. I am honored to have all of you here. And those of you that are representing, I understand President Gerald is here, so welcome. Thank you so much. Dean Sarah Michelle from the School of Pharmacy is here. Thank you, Sarah, for being here. Jim Hughes, Vice President of everything. my understanding is pretty accurate, right? Anybody else from senior leadership that's here? I miss? Okay, that's good. Well, welcome to faculty, staff, and students who are here. Appreciate you being here and being a part of our school, because it's you who make our school the best that we are. So I just want to start today by saying that this has been one of the most stressful 2 months, even matching the struggles during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes? I know that we are all experiencing shock and a major sense of loss, or at least a deep uncertainty, a feeling that we are going backwards. There are daily direct assaults on our values and mission, an attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and an attack on research that improves the lives of marginalized individuals, families, and communities. We are facing daily initiatives that threaten the existence of our profession and our school, and have received budget cuts from our state and federal governments. As you all know, as humans, we undergo a classical series of emotions to these attacks: denial, anger, depression, despair, turning inward to survive. Like the changes from COVID-19, Freddie Gray, and George Floyd, our world is changing and may not, and probably will not, be the same. These challenges were overcome with passion and grit. We must accept this new reality and commit ourselves to the hard work to protect and elevate our community, our profession, and our value-driven mission. Our future triumphs will be built on tenacity and perseverance. We cannot and will not forget that diverse backgrounds and experiences, from immigrants to our underrepresented and marginalized communities, have been a pillar of American success in our communities. Put simply, I would argue that our school and other schools of social work across this state and country are beacons of diversity and enlightenment and have driven American success. So how will we address these challenges? We will continue to do the hard work. We will walk the walk, and we will continue to show up every day and lead by example and action. And today, you will learn that about our school and the impact that our school is having on that walking the walk. So welcome to our State of the School, fostering connections and creating impact. I'm going to talk briefly for a little bit this afternoon, and then I'm going to turn it over to some of my great colleagues to get a little bit more in depth to hear their stories of what they're doing in 3 different departments. And so I won't be up here the whole time. So our mission at the University of Maryland School of Social Work is to develop practitioners, leaders, and scholars to advance the well-being of populations and communities and to promote social justice. As national leaders, we create and use knowledge for education, service innovation, and policy development. We are a large school. We have a BSW program in collaboration with UMBC. We have an MSW program, a PhD program. We have clinical and macro concentrations. I should have changed that. It's not macro, it's leadership, policy, and social change. Aren't you proud I got that right? We have behavioral health education, child welfare education through our child welfare fellowships. We have a telehealth program, continuing professional education. We have technical assistance, our child welfare academy. We have faculty research, behavioral health and wellness lab. We have a financial social work initiative. We have the Institute for Innovation and Implementation. We have the Center for Restorative Change. We have Be More for Healthy Babies, Family Connections, a Family Support Center, Positive School Center, Promise Heights, and SWACO's Social Work Community Outreach Services. We are a big and diverse place with incredible impact. So let me tell you a little bit more about who we are. So this is data from spring of 24, not fall of 25 or 24. So in spring, we had 664 students in our MSW program, 285 in the BSW program at UMBC. We had 37 students in our PhD program with 6 new students. We had over $230,000 in stipends for our MSW students and more than $210,000 in scholarships awarded. That's pushing almost $500,000 of financial support for our students and growing. You can see that the median age of our students is between 25 and 29, 77% female, 16% male, and 7% of our students identify as transgender or non-binary. You can also see that we are a top MSW program in the country. We are in the top 10%. We have 3 different program options, including a 60 credit hybrid, a 60 credit online program, and a 36 credit advanced standing program. We have 3 campus locations in Baltimore, Shady Grove, and Montgomery County, along with our online community. Our academic affair teams, they scheduled and managed 208 MSW courses last year across academic terms. You can see the number of courses there. They hired and onboarded 13 new adjuncts and PhD instructors, and they completed, this is a big one, completed a review process by the Council of Social Work Education, which reaffirms us until October of 2032. That's our reaccreditation. That's important. Our field practicum, we have a variety of field placements out there in our state, available in social service agencies, schools, nonprofit community organizations all throughout the tri-state area. We have 765 approved agency partnerships through Maryland, Washington, D.C., and the Mid-Atlantic region, including placements in Britain and India. We have 339,560 service hours of our students doing work in our communities during last academic year. We had 3 orientations, placed 595 students across 288 agencies in Maryland. We placed 25 online students in the foundation placements. 31 agencies provided $230,000, almost $231,000 in student compensation. And we recruited 32 new agencies to be one of our practicum sites. We also, as part of one of our departments, is the continuing professional education. I know I saw Shantae, she's back there. They provided last year 72 workshops, almost 2290 registrants, people participating. They offered 1 certificate program and they offered 13 financial certificate program registrations. Their reach includes 35 out of the 50 states we are providing training throughout this country, England, Vienna, and Egypt. And Shantae, when you're ready to do a field placement or a field visit in Vienna, let me know. We also have our access, collaboration, engagement, and strategy, where they implemented mandatory training on universal design and disability justice, conducted approximately 4 monthly learning collaboratives. You can see the level of professional development and the impact they've had in 2024, and that 70% of survey respondents credited initiatives as pivotal to their development. They also spearheaded multiple initiatives, the 3rd annual JEDI Award Ceremony, which tomorrow we'll be celebrating our 4th annual JEDI ceremony. Last year, they had their first annual multicultural potluck, which is always a lot of fun. They helped sponsor and participate in the 2nd annual gratitude project, where we're able to say thanks to our faculty, staff, and students. They participated with the Juneteenth week activities along with the Community Engagement Center. They led a summit, which is also happening tomorrow. Expanded multiple affinity spaces that everyone who identifies in various groups, there is a space for you. And they secured grant funds to support student licensure activities to help support students who are graduating and need help. So the 3 people in this office, have been very busy. We have a growing research through our faculty. Last annual academic year, we submitted 114 proposals and we were awarded over $30 million in external grants and contracts which is a 5% increase from the year before. Y'all have been busy writing articles, 165 publications, many of them with students, both PhD, MSW, and BSW. And that the National Institute of Mental Health, as one of our sources, elevated to third largest funder from sixth in the previous year. We are continuing to grow and will continue to grow in our research here. And these are the top 6 funders. You'll see that we work closely with the state, Department of Human Services, NIH, Department of Health, SAMHSA, Family League of Baltimore, along with the Maryland State Department of Education. The Center for Restorative Change, their impact is huge. They're doing work in the community and they're supporting a number of community programs, from Positive Schools, where they're in 30 schools in the city of Baltimore, and the lead agency for 12 of them. There are almost 4,400 community members engaged with positive school initiatives. There's over 130 community partnerships through our Promise Heights initiative. We have 875 families were positively impacted by our Family Connections program, providing mental health services to our families in West Baltimore. Be More for Healthy Babies continues to do outstanding work and increase the number of moms who gave birth full term by 13%. And they newly opened a family support center, which provides safe and welcoming space where families can access resources and get job and workforce development. The Institute for Innovation and Implementation, you'll hear a little bit more from them, but you can see how they are committed to building a research-based, inclusive, culturally responsive, and transformative child, youth, and family serving systems and programs. They have 29 active grants and contracts worth $23 million. They have over 3,500 pyramid model related modules for early child care providers. They trained over 40,000 practitioners in child welfare, children's behavioral health, and other child serving systems, and over a dozen trainings provided specifically for infant and early childhood mental health consultants. Come on. Oop. We've also worked this past year on a little bit of morale. So we've had summer barbecue, Taco Tuesdays. How many of you went to a Taco Tuesday? Yay! A lot of fun. We had a Halloween decor contest. That was very interesting and a lot of fun. We also had our annual winter extravaganza, and you can see some of the pictures here, and people were doing the karaoke. Love seeing the teams going up there and doing that. Human Resources, led by our own Kimber, first name, last name Lee. I got that right? Processed 475 employee actions, onboarded 104 new hires or rehires, revamped the onboarding process, assigned dedicated HR representatives to departments, and our fiscal department expanded their team with new post-award management positions, developed monthly budget reconciliation tools, cleared backlogs in post-award and payroll management, and established streamlined partnerships with campus offices. So even our infrastructure has been busy. Our IDEA team, that I know some folks are here, supported 229 course sections, handled 530 online program support tickets, migrated the Institute to a new learning management system. That's a lot of work. And expanded the history of oppression modules. This is a course, expanded the course modules with expanded DEI content. Our informatics team completed our audit that was done by the state with no findings. Congratulations, Dave and your team. They also successfully migrated Oracle databases to the cloud, and they upgraded our classroom technology by installing new laptops, paper cut print management, so that we can start managing the printing that we're doing here in the school. External affairs, development, marketing, communication saw also significant growth and changes, 4% increase in annual giving, 15% rise in new donors, 9% increase in donor retention, and 27% enhancement in leadership giving. The marketing campaign drove over 15,000 individuals to the website. Monthly emails were sent to over 2,300 individuals and increased our social media followers by 7.6%. And this done by a team that didn't have people in those offices for a good 6 months of that year. So very proud of the work that they've done. Finally, not finally, one more slide after that, our new social work building. Woohoo! 2 years from now. We had our groundbreaking ceremony this past October. I believe next week, President Gerald and I are going to go put on our hard hats and our boots and go look at how they are drilling for the geothermal exchange wells. Very excited. I've been telling people we will be moving into the most efficient building on campus and leaving the worst efficient building on campus behind. So I'm very happy about that. Again, we expect to be open in 2027 and know that there are a couple of cameras trained on the site. If you're bored and you want to watch construction, you can do so. And then finally, I just want to make sure that you understand that we've had a number of senior leadership changes. So I started in July 1 of 2020. And as you can see, I know they're really tiny, but the blue positions were in positions before I got here. 3. The purple were new to the position since I started here in July of 2020, and the green we newly hired this past year. So we've had a number of significant changes in our leadership structure. We are moving forward. All the positions have been filled, and very excited about this. So I'm wondering what happened to the other slide. Hold on. No. So we have 3 fireside chats. Hold on. Oh, wow. 3 fireside chats. The first group that's going to come up is the Institute for Innovation and Implementation. It'll be our new executive director, Amy Greensfelder, who started in September. And Aaron Betzinger, who is our research assistant professor, will come talk about his work. After they are done, Global Initiatives will come up and talk about the work we're doing. Jody Fry, our associate dean for research, will be interviewing Lynn Murphy-Michalopoulos, who is the director of our Global Initiatives. And then ending with our admissions team, with our Associate Dean of Admissions and Enrollment, Danielle White, along with a brand new Associate Director of Admissions, Maureen Seiler, who is a refugee from Alabama. Very happy. So I'm going to turn it over to you at this point.